All right. Good afternoon to those of you on the East Coast. Good morning to those of you on the West Coast. I'm your host, Brandon Choi, co-creator of Movers and Shakers Unlimited, and welcome to our weekly podcast known as This Week in Pop Culture, the show in which we give you the goings on in the past week in pop culture, whether we're talking film and TV, local news, sports, and the like. We try to bring you up to speed so that way you are not left in the wind. Of course, I'm not going to be alone in talking about these said topics. So without further ado, I want to welcome my co-host onto the show, Mr. Spillman Trueheart, aka Spills. What is going on, sir?
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Happy All-Star Weekend. If you copped any fly shoes, I'm happy for you. I've been looking at the internet, people getting cool shoes. I'm stuck with regular general release shoes. Bah humbug.
Bah humbug indeed. Well, Spillman, just as you said, we do have a All-Star NBA All-Star Weekend 2025 happening this weekend, and of course, we want to dive into some of the specifics of what happened the last couple of days. Of course, we have it wrapping up today, but before we do that, we did have some things that went down this weekend. We had a little small MCU film that dropped this weekend, and we also had some other sports news to dive into, not only in with the WNBA, but also, of course, with the NFL that we want to be able to wrap up. So without further ado, shall we dive in?
Let's get it.
All right, let's get it. So first, we want to talk about, as I said, an MCU film that dropped this weekend, that being, of course, Captain America Brave New World. And this being the fourth installment, of course, in the Captain America franchise within the gargantuan shared movie universe at this point that we have known as the MCU. It dropped in the theaters, subtitled again as Brave New World. The new film provides us with Sam Wilson's first official adventure, if you're not counting the miniseries The Falcon and Winter Soldier, as the newly christened Captain America, as he finds himself in the middle of an international incident and must discover the force behind the nefarious global plot that is occurring. Aside from Anthony Mackie taking the mantle as Captain America, you have Harrison Ford taking over the role of General Ross, General Thunderbolt Ross, previously portrayed across multiple films by the late William Hurt, who is now president of the United States. Spillman, you had an opportunity to check out the film. What were your thoughts?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think that the movie was very well done. It's got a lot of overtones of today. There
Yes.
are, I'm not going to do any spoilers because, obviously the movie came out on Thursday. We don't want to spoil it, but it's a lot of things that you like again, in the immortal words of George Lucas, it doesn't match history, but they rhyme. They rhyme. So very interesting to see what goes on with that. I like some of the themes explored. I feel like at this point, though, that Marvel is just hitting us over the head with what's going on with the rest of their lineup as far as they cast the characters in their Marvel universe, the great Marvel universe, not the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
And they just need to bring these people in. We've been talking. I feel like we might, as long as I've been on this podcast, we've been talking about them bringing those characters in. Disney has bought literally every movie studio in the history of movie studios to bring these characters in because obviously the MCU makes billions and billions of dollars. So I understand that part, but I just don't get why they just don't. Come on, man, stop teasing me. Like I want to go back in the champagne room. I want a private dance, Marvel, Disney. I want a private dance. I don't want to hear about it. Stop telling me about the private dance that I could get if I give you $30 more. I'm giving you the $30. Just let me see it already. I'm just tired of you toying with me. Let me go in the champagne room, Disney.
Hashtag champagne room. But
Hashtag.
but speaking speaking of what you're commenting on, I guess the thing that is that I've taken, and I guess I'll start first with the issues that I have first before the things that I feel like the film does well, is that there are too many threads, and I feel like you're kind of touching on this too from what you were saying as well, of all the things that it feels like not only that it has to wrap up, but that it also teases. And unless you are well versed in the goings on behind the scenes, um, there is, I know, a lot of complications in terms of how Marvel can use the Hulk character, and because of that, I feel like they tried to use this film as kind of a sneaky way to do a sequel to Incredible Hulk. Like you have plot threads from Incredible Hulk, which came out, I think, gosh, almost 20 years ago at this point. It's hard to
20
believe.
years ago,
It's
yeah.
like 2008. You have plot threads from the Eternals, which not a lot of people. There were people that saw it, but not if we're talking in comparison to some of our peak Marvel, films. We're talking about some of our Avenger films, or even our other ancillary films such as like Black Panther. We're talking those peak films, and don't get me wrong, like the film didn't make like a minuscule amount of money. It made money, but in relation to what's expected of a Marvel film, it fell far below that expectation. So, yes, there were people that saw it, but if we're comparing it to the heights of your Infinity Wars or Civil War or Black Panther, I feel like there were far fewer people that saw it that are considered, I guess, not the hardcore fans, but more of the casual fans. And I feel like there's a great illustration in that, because I had an opportunity to see the film twice. So I saw it as an advanced screening on Wednesday, Spills, as you know, but I also saw it on Friday with family. And in seeing it with family, yes, I have family members who are aware of the Marvel movies. They have a general sense of who the characters are. Like they have a general idea of like who the Avengers are, who each of those members are, and maybe a couple of other additional characters. But I can't tell you how many times, if I could give you a nickel for every time that I had a family member say, "So who's this? So who are they? Oh, they're from what? They can do that? I didn't know that. I didn't know that they had the ability to do that. Okay, so they're a super soldier." So I mean, there were so many times where like I had to be tapped in and say, so who's that person? What can they do? And that shouldn't be the case. Like it shouldn't. I feel like we've gotten to a point with a lot of these Marvel movies where you have to do unnecessary amount of homework to be able to not have that situation happen where someone is confused as to who certain people are. And and I think the expectation is, when we're talking about Marvel, I feel like they feel like everyone has seen everything. And don't get me wrong, like you and I, we probably have seen, we've seen pretty much everything between you and I. But for your common casual Marvel fans, they're not going to watch everything, and so it makes it a tricky proposition, to have a film where ahead of time you feel kind of overwhelmed, where you're like, gosh, like because there've been other relatives where I was like, yeah, you probably want to check this out, and they're like, gosh, really, I gotta check out all these other things to just be able to follow what's going on. So
It's too
that
many
I'll go,
addendums. It's too many addendums.
I'll go into that in monuses. In the film itself, there are overall, I enjoyed the film. There are some corny parts in terms of the dialogue that happen in spots. I do feel like that there was humor that was, in typical Marvel fashion. There was humor that undercut some of the serious, some of the good serious moments that we have in the film. And I know up to this point we've talked about, at least in this in the MCU, we've talked about how vibranium is this very durable and strong metal, right? But when we're talking about having a normal human being utilizing that vibranium, while it does provide them an edge when it comes to normal combatants, when we're talking about like combatants that are at the level of the Hulk, it still kind of seems unrealistic that they would be able to still withstand the onslaught of the Hulk, even with the vibranium suit. Because if we're talking about being thrown, I mean, I could see if you're, if you have a vibranium suit and you're still superhuman.
But it be
I know,
glowing. The glowing lets you know it's
I
got
get it.
powers, though. It
I
glows. That's a
get it.
visual
I get it.
clue.
I get it absorbs the energy. I get that. But let's be fair, when we're talking about Black Panther, when we're talking about Captain America who utilized vibranium, both of them are superhuman. Like they're not normal human beings. Like even without the suit, um Black Panther, like he still has the abilities that are beyond human because of the heart-shaped herb. With Captain America, because of the serum that he has, he's still, even though you have someone wielding the abilities of the vibranium, you still have someone superhuman behind it that's wielding it. So there were instances of that where I was like, come on, you telling me like he's fine after being thrown through this building, even with a vibranium suit? Uh, 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 you're telling me that he's fine after this collision that happened, after the kinetic energy finally connected? And yeah, and for those of you that have seen it, that happens later on in the movie where you have this huge explosion and he's under like tons of rubble and he's fine. He just has a couple of cuts. Like, come on, he's not a super soldier. So like there were parts of that where I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to suspend my disbelief where I took issue with that. Another thing that I'll say in wrapping up like my issues, and then I'll finally get into the things that I enjoy is, ironically, being called Brave New World, I don't feel like the film was brave enough in its subject matter. There were a lot of times where I feel like, okay, it was right on the tip of your tongue. You were about to get into, some race related stuff, and y'all just fell short of doing that. And I feel like in the series of Falcon and Winter Soldier, which I enjoyed out of those Disney Plus shows, I feel like it was far braver in actually commenting on race relations and the nature of being a Black Captain America versus what we got in this film. I feel like they played it a little safer in this movie when there was an opportunity to be just as brave as you were in the TV series. Because there were times in TV series I was like, okay, Marvel, I see you, I see that you're addressing this, and in the past, like, you've never really dived into this type of type of subject matter and talk. So I was hoping that we would get a continuation of that in the film, and that wasn't the case. All that being said, Mackie is great. I'm sorry, go ahead. You about to say something?
I'm just going to say, no, finish your thought. Finish your thought.
So all in all, Mackie is great as Cap. Ramirez is great as Falcon. I did enjoy them as Falcon. I'm looking forward to seeing more of Sidewinder. I love, Giancarlo Esposito. I thought he was terrific as that character. Looking forward to seeing more of that character. And on the other end of what the issue that I had with the vibranium, I do appreciate, for the most part, minus those moments that I just mentioned, for the most part, I do appreciate them addressing the idea of being normal versus super, where Sam really has to come to terms with really digging deep and saying, "Gosh, maybe I should have taken a serum. Okay, maybe I won't take the serum. Maybe I should." I like that battle of him really kind of trying to battle with that idea of, okay, maybe I should be a super soldier instead of being a normal guy, and then having someone explain to him why it is special that he didn't take the serum versus taking it. So go ahead.
I think that they're saying Brave New World by, like, I think for the last like 15 or 20 Marvel films, the oil of the world is vibranium. Everything is people trying to get vibranium, people trying to steal.
Yeah.
So if you look at the world that way, I think the fact that they invented um, an alternative, much like other markets, if something is introduced, like the AI revolution right now,
Oh,
once you
I get
find
that.
out that
Yeah.
that we could step on the brick all we want to, we still can get them same prices. That changes some of the politics of things. I think that that's interesting, but I do think again, it's because they're not showing the stuff we want to see. Like I get that they're trying to make a big. They're not going to do it in a February movie, the big reveal movie, because generally people don't go outside in February because it's this thing that happens in February called snow, and you might have put out a movie during a
Especially on the east,
major
well, on the East Coast, for
snowstorm,
sure. Especially on the East Coast.
especially and in the middle of the country. They
Yeah,
we
that
think
too.
about the
That
middle
too.
of the
That's
country. They
true.
buy movie
That's
tickets
true.
too.
Yeah,
It gets
that's
cold
true.
out there, so
Yeah, that's true.
I think that because they don't have the snow and stuff, they don't drop these movies now. They're probably going to talk more about it in the Fantastic Four movie. But the fact that they said the A word all through the movie, adamantium, they saying adamantium, adamantium.
Yeah,
We all think of one person when we talk about that, and they didn't
of
talk
course,
about him. Like
of
they had a
course.
chance to with certain like things that happen in the plot that we not going to reveal.
And I get that part. I mean, I understand where you're coming from. I get that to a degree because that's just adding some extra added element that it has nothing to do with the central plot. Like I get that. I guess what my issue is don't try to be sneaky and make this into an Incredible Hulk film because you can't do a straight out Incredible Hulk movie sequel. Like don't try to sneak that in there and make it kind of like a pseudo Incredible Hulk movie. And then if you're gonna, I understand what you're saying when you're saying Brave New World, and I got that idea of the world stage and the how adamantium plays into that. But I feel like there was also an opportunity there to continue forth in addressing, that matter as well. Yes, it was addressed in the show, but I feel like there were also moments in there where it could have also been addressed in the film further because we have to also understand that everyone doesn't watch all the TV shows. So it provided an opportunity for it to be addressed again in the film for those who did not see the TV show that was seemed to be, necessary viewing and watching this movie. So overall, it's a solid movie. It's not a horrible movie. And I know that there were lots of reshoots done. And I mean there are reshoots done a lot of times when we're talking about MCU, but uh particularly with this film, I know there was a lot of news about how much reshoots and how much needed to be redone. And when it's all said and done, I mean it's a solid entry, but I do feel like and there are things to appreciate and to take from it, but I do feel like there are flaws in it that could have been uh uh tweaked more. So any last thoughts before we hop into our sports?
Um, No, not really. I do think that, Harrison Ford did do a good job. I was a little worried about him mailing it in like he did with the Star Wars Force Awakens movie. I mean, he didn't mail it in on the Force Awakens, but he was like, "Look, I'm only doing one of these." So I
Right,
guess he
right,
didn't
right,
say
right,
that for
right,
this one. I guess
right.
because all he has to do is just moving forward as that character. So
Yeah.
he'd be like, "All right, they'll take care of it, a la Ben Affleck and Batfleck." But I don't want to talk about that too much.
Fair deal, fair deal. So we're going to switch gears into our sports cooler talk, and as I mentioned before we're going to talk some basketball, but we're going to hop over to football first. Realize that I prematurely put that up, but I'm gonna put this up first. Of course, this past weekend we had the Super Bowl that went down, and funnily enough, Spills, I know last week, shout out to Ken Arnold, who is a massive Eagles fan. We were under the expectation that we were going to have a close game last weekend, and That fell far
BTA.
short. That fell far short of what we were expecting as the Eagles blew out the Kansas City Chiefs 40-22. Uh, thanks to which we did highlight or say, both of us, thanks to their ferocious defense, orchestrated, of course, by their defensive coordinator, Vic Fangio, and executed by standouts such as Cooper DeJean and Josh Sweat. They were able to spoil Patrick Mahomes, Travis, and the rest of the Kansas City Chiefs' efforts in securing a historic Super Bowl three-peat. Not to be outdone, Jalen Hurts, their quarterback, the Eagles quarterback, added to the onslaught, throwing for 2 touchdowns and running for a score, earning him Super Bowl MVP honors. Spills, your thoughts on the game?
I thought that the game was terrible. I've said it everywhere. I did not like seeing. Well, I like the halftime show, but the halftime show was very apt. It said "game over" at halftime, and the game was over at halftime. Most people I know didn't watch it past halftime because why would you watch a game where you see someone getting beat on? I think that obviously we could have seen Patrick Mahomes become the greatest of all time if he would have came back from that deficit, but it was an insurmountable lead. They didn't even really use Saquon Barkley, even though he's been their best player most of the year.
Yeah.
They didn't need to use him. They had a pick six before the half that kind of really broke the Chiefs. We see here that your boy Travis Kelsey, cute hair. And as I've always said, once you start getting cute hair, you're not caring about winning games no more. Because he spent a lot of time on that hair. There's no way he didn't put a lot of product in it. He had him a cute outfit on. You can't win no Super Bowl with a cute outfit on. Man, I hope I was talking to my friend, and she was like, "I think he wore the same because he had on like a matador esque outfit with sequins and bell bottoms and whatnot. He had to wear that out of the stadium. Imagine how silly he felt wearing that silly get up out of the stadium when he could. And he had a man bag with him. He could have put a pair of sweats in there or something so that when he got done, because he had to take a shower after the game, he was sweaty. So you mean to tell me he took a shower and put back on the get up for losing? I'm just really appalled. Really appalled. This was just something else. Obviously the halftime show was tremendous. I really like Kendrick Lamar. Um, Not Like Us. It has officially jumped the shark though. They did it this week on the SNL. It was funny, but definitely it jumped the shark when they gave it the the church play rendition of Not Like Us. So I really enjoyed it. How did you feel about the Super Bowl, B?
So I'll say this, and then I'm not gonna beat a dead horse in that when we're talking about the postseason, whether we're talking football, whether we're talking basketball, doesn't matter how talented you are offensively. I said it then, and I'll say it now. Defense is going to win you games. Um, a lot of times when you're talking about the regular season, a lot of teams are in that kind of that mode of play where you're filling each other out and you're trying to develop the habits that you need in the postseason. But by the time you get to the postseason, you already have an idea of what your identity is, and you already hopefully develop those habits that are necessary to win you the title, that championship game, that last game. And when your offense isn't working for you, you're going to need the defense to be able to fall back on. We already knew that the Eagles were talented defensively, even going into this game. And in relation to the Eagles that the Chiefs faced before, this was a far more talented Eagles team. So I still had Mahomes pulling out some heroics, but man, like they convincingly, utilize the defense that we all knew that they were capable of playing to be able to definitively and convincingly win this game. So not shocked that the defense won them the game. I'm just shocked more so that it was as big of a deficit that it ended up being. I didn't plan for it to be a blowout. I planned for it to still be a close game. So
Sadly, I thought it was going to be a blowout. I didn't want it to be a blowout. I said last week on the show, I was like, I hope that the Eagles don't win, but they probably going to win. I just, three in a row is hard. They had all the stuff the week before with, certain people saying they like them. And then I imagine all their friends and family being sad that certain people like them. It was just too much. It was too much.
yeah,
Everybody
and
got
then
rock
and
star
then
girlfriends and
I
stuff.
was gonna say I really think that you can't really, just as you said, deny the amount of pressure of historically winning a third in a row. Um, as much as they tried to downplay it throughout that week, up to the game, and all the press that was happening of folks commenting on it and them kind of trying to downplay it, I still feel like you can't deny the amount of pressure that was happening there. So indeed. Uh, so just a moment ago, I had the story there for our other sports story that was WNBA related. So I'm going to bring that up now, and that's centered around the new coach as well as the new GM. And this happened this past Wednesday. We had the Washington Mystics finally introduce, or officially, I should say, introduce its new head coach, Sidney Johnson, as well as his new general manager, Jamila Wadman. Just a little information on Johnson. He's been a coach for several years at various levels, whether it's from at the college level to USA basketball and now the WNBA. He started his career as an assistant coach at Georgetown University and went on to become the head coach of his alma mater, Princeton University. On the other end, with Wadman, she joins the Mystics after spending the last 6 years at the NBA league office, most recently serving as a senior vice president of player development. She also played college basketball at Stanford University and was a part of the inaugural WNBA class, selected third overall by the Los Angeles Sparks in her day. This, however, will be her first time running a professional franchise. And just a little info on the Mystics themselves. Their new season is set to tip off at home against the Atlanta Dream on May 16th. So, Spills, your thoughts on these changes in our local franchise?
I think that since their championship in 2019, the Mystics have taken a step back. I don't feel like we've missed out on a lot of this. We've missed out on a lot of the big signings that we have, that have been in the last couple of years. I guess, just like the Wizards, people do not want to come to DC to play. I don't get why we can't get people. The most recent big acquisition they've gotten is Elena Deladon, and I guess because she lived in her people from Delaware, she wanted to be able to drive home on the weekends, I guess. I don't. I like this move as far as a shakeup in coaching. They needed some new voices in the locker room since the championship. That was 5 years ago. That championship. It's been a long time. It's time to get some new blood in there. We've missed out on a lot of the new hot stuff. We don't have any of the most recent guards or forwards or centers that have come out. Like all the big names that have come out, none of them have signed with the Mystics. People have gone to Chicago, they've gone to the Sparks or the Liberty, but they haven't come here. And I think that this would be a great place for a professional basketball player.
Nah, hear you. But okay, we think we lost Spillman there just for a moment. But while he's making his way back, I mean, I do agree when we're talking about the Mystics. I love the fact that we do have some changes that are happening with this franchise. I believe we have them back now.
I'm
See if I
back.
can get
Sorry about
you.
that, guys.
All good, all good. So no, I guess what I was about to say is we noticed in the past that when you make changes to your franchise, especially with the folks that are not on the hardwood, right? Whether it's the coach, whether it's the pieces that you need in that office, we've seen that it has bared bared fruit. A good example of that would be the Washington Redskins, of how we cleaned house, right? A lot of the folks that we had there in that office for that franchise, and look where it resulted to. It resulted us getting all the way to the NFC championship. And the decisions that were made in order to get the necessary pieces and make the necessary decisions with our personnel to get us there. When we have seen that has been successful in the past, my hopes is that it will also translate here to what we see with the Washington Mystics. Um, I like the fact that we have a coach who has experience, is not someone who is hopping in from not having any professional experience whatsoever in terms of their coaching or in terms of his coaching. I love the fact that with our GM that we have someone who has played in the league and has played themselves. Because sometimes when we have that element of folks that are in those roles or above in that role or even above that role in a given franchise, they don't necessarily have that professional that experience as professional athletes, so they can't really relate to the athletes in such a way because they can't really speak to it. So I love the fact that she has that prior experience, but it will be interesting to see how it plays out because, as it mentions there, it is her first time in that type of role with the franchise. So we'll see.
I get that, but I feel like she spent 6 years in the league office. She's got that championship purple and gold DNA. She's played for the Sparks, which is a Lakers affiliate. That's been good for the Washington faithful. Magic came into town and we went to the conference finals. So I don't doubt that. I just really think you can get Red R back in here. If he don't have no horses, he's not gonna win. So I think that they need to get players. I cross my heart and wish we get Juju, but we never gonna get Juju. Juju's gonna sign to the Sparks because they're not dumb. They gonna keep Juju at home. They're not gonna let her come out here. They know what's going on. They don't let us win. It's
We shall see.
we'll see, but they just
We'll
gotta
see.
get players, man. They gotta get players.
I hear you. I hear you. All right, so that brings us up to our main event and talking about the NBA All Star weekend, of course, that is happening now as we speak and wraps up today. Just a little information on what has transpired thus far. On Friday, we had the festivities kick off with the familiar celebrity All Star game, which saw television actor Rome Flynn walk away with top honors after helping lift Team Bonds to victory with 22 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists at the celebrity game. In their defeat of Team Jerry Rice, 66-55. The festivities continued on Friday as we actually got a new wrinkle. As I said, we had the familiar Celebrity All Star game, but the new wrinkle being the Rising Stars game, debuting a new format. The new format being that the winner of the 4-team mini tournament of the first and second round year players could secure a spot to participate in today's All Star game. When it was all said and done on Friday, this new format saw Team C selected and co-coached by Naismith Basketball Hall of Famer Chris Mullin advance to Sunday's NBA All-Star Game, with WNBA legend Candace Parker taking over as honorary GM of what will become Team Candace. Now, moving on to Saturday, the NBA, in its continual efforts to show its support to HBCU schools with awareness for its athletics and educational opportunities, held its fourth annual NBA HBCU Classic presented by AT&T at Oakland Arena, which saw the Morehouse College Athletics Maroon Tigers face off with the Tuskegee University Golden Tigers. Both schools were selected for their rich traditions on-court rivalry and commitment to excellence. In terms of the game itself, though, Tuskegee was able to hang on at the end, defeating Morehouse 68-55. Tuskegee's Kasume, and I apologize if I'm butchering your name, but Kasume Draper led the Golden Tigers with 22 points, while Kevin Sesbury and DeAnthony Pennington added 19 and 16 points, respectively. Now, the wrap up that evening, we had the skills challenge, which saw the Cavs team win. Soon after, Milwaukee's Damian Lillard fell short in his efforts to win a third straight 3-point contest title, instead seeing Miami guard Tyler Hero best him in the contest to become the fifth player in franchise history to win a 3-point contest championship. And of course, last but not least, we had Virginia native Mac McClung win his third straight AT&T Slam Dunk contest, becoming the first player in NBA history to win 3 straight Slam Dunk contests. He scored a perfect score in all 4 of the dunks that he had last night. Spillman, your thoughts on Friday and Saturday, respectively, of NBA All-Star Weekend?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna have a controversial take.
Uh-oh. Okay.
When we talk about the 60s in basketball, we talk about how, oh, well, they weren't playing against anybody. Then, some people, will say that nobody's in these dunk contests, and that's why Mac McClung has won 3 in a row. I have to question, was the 90s not a good era in the NBA with all those expansion teams? Is that why Michael Jordan was winning all them championships? Because while Matt McClung looked very impressive doing all those dunks, he jumped over a car, he dunked 2 balls while spinning around. He wasn't playing against nobody. I had never heard of any of them other guys other than Matt McClung. And if I wasn't from here, I wouldn't know who Matt McClung was the first time he was on the all thing. They had to bring Matt back up from the G League because he wasn't good enough to play in the NBA. The fact that these guys are not in the dunk contest, a guy like Anthony Edwards, a guy like John Morant, Zion Williamson, why are they not in the dunk contest? I know. I've gone down this tangent, and Brandon's probably going to say, well, it's LeBron's fault. I'm sure he's going to say that
Yeah,
because the
it's your
guys
boy's
before
fault.
him,
It's your boy. It's your
I
boy.
just,
It's not even your
I
boy.
had to
It's your boy.
struggle. Like, ladies and gentlemen, I struggled last night staying up to watch this dunk contest.
Really?
I struggled to stay awake last night. It was
Wow.
so boring. Like, the
What?
guys were missing dunks and dunks and dunks. They were missing over and over and over. They have to put a
Wow.
clock on the dunk contest. Think about this. They didn't used to have this. It didn't used to be a clock because people went out and made their dunk on the first try because people that could dunk was actually in the dunk contest. Now we getting a bunch of nobodies. Some of the highlight packages was them blocking shots. I don't care if you could block shots if you're in the dunk contest. That's not what the contest is. It's not a shot block contest. It's a dunk contest. So I just it was a struggle for me last night watching these all-star festivities. It makes me sad that it's come to this. Like you say, we blame LeBron, but Matt
Wow.
McClung is not playing against
First,
nobody.
I'm gonna make sure you put some respect on the name Mac McClung. I know you keep saying Mac McClung, so Mac McClung. But I will say this: I understand where your frustrations are coming from, and I do agree. These last couple of
See, look, his
years,
jersey says Pensacola. Don't nobody know where that is. Terrible. They
but
lost to a G League guy. Think about that.
I
Think
will
about
say
that. You in
this:
the league, you lost a dunk contest to a dude
whose
who
fault
ain't
is
in the
that though?
league.
Whose fault is that though? That's the players in the NBA. Their fault. Whether we start at the head of the snake with LeBron and trickle down to any other players that we have that are in that era that
And I
could have.
blame the internet too. I blame the internet because they tried to make fun of Jalen last year for being in the dunk contest and trying left hand, not doing left hand dunks, and they're like he can't dunk left handed. Most people can't dunk left handed if they right handed, ladies and gentlemen. Most of you can't dunk. That's listening to this. None of y'all could dunk. Brandon can't dunk. I think I seen Brandon dunk once, maybe once. He got a little, he got a tip in. But the fact that these people are like poo-pooing the dunk contest, and so no one wants to enter it no more. That they letting a dude with a jersey that they nobody, no one knows where Pensacola, Florida is. Like I know Pensacola because I'm a big Roy Jones Jr. fan. If I had never heard of Roy Jones, I would not know where it is. I would think that that was like over Jupiter Beach or something. It's on the Panhandle. Don't nobody know.
So I'll say a couple of things. I'll start first with Friday, and I'll say that while I was a bit skeptical about that new format that they were utilizing with the what is it, the Rising Stars game, I'm glad that they have added that element because now you have something with the Rising Stars game that actually I feel like gives it extra added value. And don't get me wrong, like there have been some memorable moments that I can count maybe offhand that were memorable about our those the Rising Stars challenge that we had with those first year and second year players. But now to actually put some fire under your perennial all stars by having the winner of the Rising Stars Challenge to be able to compete against those on Sunday night. I do like that element because it adds some extra added drama to otherwise, you know, kind of boring weekend. And the reason why I say that is I don't know if this is lost on you, Spills, but one of your players from the Lakers it was on that Rising Stars team, and he may have a little beef and some reason to compete in Sunday's game. With Mr. Connect, what happened to your boy Connect with the Lakers? Because he was on that winning team with the Rising Stars that's going to be playing today in our little mini tournament.
I think that that whole thing is stupid. How dare they? Instead of making these guys play, they gonna make a bunch of rookies play. Don't nobody want to see the rookies on this thing. The rookie team is going to get destroyed. I don't know why you even entertain that. A bunch of rookies supposed to beat the All Stars.
I don't
A
know.
bunch of rookies. A bunch of rookies.
I don't know if your veterans ain't playing serious. They
I don't know
I
how
don't
you don't
know.
think that they won't destroy these people. I just I'm really frustrated. Like the way that you just said that was the way that Drewski walked up like he was about to win that MVP and then they gave it to somebody else. The way Drewski was like, that's how you sound right now. Well, the rookies going to win because Dalton Connect has a chip on his shoulder.
He does.
Dalton Connect.
And I love that drama. I love that drama of having that element in here because right now, in any other circumstance, it would just be a regular exhibition game. There would be nothing at stake. But I like that you have that element there where you have someone with something to prove and having the potential to be able to do that come today, later on
I
today.
think that once they went away from the East versus West, where it's not we on the East and we represent the East no more, they try to do the world thing. Then
Yeah,
they try to do the world's best pickup game. That's
yeah.
all cool, but it has to be some kind of pride. And if it's Western Conference versus Eastern Conference, that's something that goes year to year. We could talk about that. Like, oh, we beat y'all the last 6 years in a row. You guys suck. That's one thing that could build the thing. But I do think that obviously a lot of the stars moved west with a lot of the new TV deals and stuff over the last 10 years. LeBron, Kevin Durant, all of these kind of guys, all are in the West. Paul George moved to the West. But the East has built itself back up. I think if the NBA would stop trying to um gamify things, like I get that the NBA is the most twittered professional sports league.
Yep.
They
Yep.
run social media the best. They're the
Yeah.
biggest social media one. I
Yeah.
get that they try to do that. Um, but when you get away from the actual games, this is kind of what you get, that people don't tune in for gimmicks. Like if it's supposed to be viewed in a soundbite, like that Drewski thing, I didn't watch that live. I saw it in a clip on the internet. If it's not something that you don't, really just capture in the moment, no one's going to capture it. So to me, adding these extra teams and having all these people that don't nobody know about playing, that like I get the All-Star game used to be a way to introduce yourself, but that's if you were on a level like Michael Jordan his first year. was on a level. Like you don't take over. Like Vince Carter was on a level. He was the franchise player of the Toronto Raptors, a franchise that famously did not do much. But once he killed it in 2000, even last night during the dunk contest, they spent more time talking about Vince Carter and how great Vince Carter was than talking about the dudes that was in the
I'll
dang
give you
on
that.
dunk
I'll
contest.
give you that. I'll give you that. I'm like,
Like
gosh, they're spending an inordinate
a
amount of time.
lot
And
of time.
don't
I
get me
get it was
wrong.
25 years
And
ago,
I'm
and he
like,
just
don't get
got
me
the home.
wrong. Vince Carter is awesome. He's arguably, and I will put him over Jordan as a dunker. Not as a
He's better
player,
than Michael Jordan as a
not
dunker
as a
for sure.
player, but as a
For sure.
dunker, I will put
For
him over
sure.
Jordan. So, like, no, and I get that. So I guess, as I said, I'm glad that they provided more value to the Rising Stars Challenge of making it more interesting. Saturday, I will be in contrast to you and say that I did enjoy a slam dunk contest, and I will also say this: I'm glad of what it has potentially started. No, don't do that fake sleep. Like I'm excited about what is potentially started because I don't know if you've been keeping track of what has happened as a result of that. That we've had some people that have thrown their hat in the ring for next year because they're trying to dethrone Mac McClung. So
They should have
looking
did
at
that
you,
this year. I don't want to hear about
I'm
nobody
looking
that
at
say
you,
what they're
Ja
gonna do
Morant.
next year.
I'm looking at you,
Ja,
Ja Morant. I'm looking
all
at
them
you, Greek
boys.
Freak. And Zion needs to hop in there. I know he has yet to kind of throw his hat in the ring. He needs to hop up in there, but
All them
still,
boys. Forget
with
them. No,
Ja
no, ladies and gentlemen.
and
No, no.
Giannis, I don't know. That makes things a little more interesting. It's a
I feel
bummer that we
like
didn't get LeBron like in his in those earlier years. Because if you're looking at any of those USA highlights, man, like I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. I just feel like LeBron not doing it really set a tone where they've decided they don't have to do the stuff. So even though I'm an acolyte of the king, sometimes the emperor don't be wearing clothes. Sometimes the emperor did not have
What?
on clothes with that. He did
What?
not have on clothes. He
Can't
was he was
believe it.
completely.
Being
He was complete.
objective about
I'm
LeBron?
objective. I'm objective. That's why
What?
I
I
can say
can't
that Michael
believe it.
Jordan's not the GOAT.
I can't
Michael
believe
Jordan gave up in his prime. I don't care who died.
it. Wow, there it is. There it is. That's
I
that's
don't
what I
care
was
who
that's what I
died.
was looking for. There it
That's
is.
right. I don't
There
care.
it
I
is.
don't care.
Well,
They
let me
gave
ask
him
you this.
yeah.
I was gonna say, let me ask you this. When it comes to NBA weekend, because I know this has been a point of topic too, is do you feel like the 3-point contest should wrap up that day instead of the slam dunk contest, or should it still remain as a
No,
slam dunk contest?
no. It's the
Okay.
slam dunk contest. They just need to get some horses in there. They've been having ponies. Ponies are great. Ponies. You can put glitter in their hair. They're good at prancing and stuff, but we need horses. They need to put some horses in the dunk contest. People that dunk on people regularly that people know about, people with stuff to sell. Because part of it too is these people that win the dunk contest, no one's going out and buying Matt McGlung sneakers. No one's going to buy a Pensacola Magic jersey. No one's going to do that unless you're from Pensacola. Maybe you would, but like they're not selling that stuff in France. They're not selling that stuff in China. So to me, I just feel like it's they've stepped on the brick entirely too much. Um, they need to have these guys doing the right thing, and that means playing hard. I feel like somebody like Giannis needs to just take it up a notch. I feel like he hasn't, or people like him just need to destroy people in the All-Star game. I feel like Giannis need to go and block a bunch of shots in the All-Star game, play some hard-nosed defense, dunk on some people, because I feel like really where the All Star game really went out of control is when Stephon Marbury bounced that ball off of Carlos Boozer head, and once that happened,
All right, we're gonna give Spillman a second. But no, I mean Spillman, I hear you. I hear you. I like there are the All-Star game is definitely in a weird place where prior to this year, prior to this new format, um it got really dull. Where I remember the years, growing up in middle school and in high school, where obviously it's not a game that allows that has implications in terms of them winning a championship, but there was a sense of pride that came with playing in the Western Conference, playing for the West team or playing for the East team, and showing pride for your respective conference, and also showing some pride in providing a competitive game. Because a lot of times what would happen is, those that first half would kind of be a slight exhibition where both sides were kind of trying or filling each other out, and then by the second half, you had each of the players on any given team, whether we're talking about the East team or the West team, that they were playing for a sense of pride, just for the fact that they were athletes and that they were being competitive. They wanted to ensure that in the game that they were playing on, that their team won. Just based on pride, wanted to say that not only did their team win, just individually, that they were able to help secure a win for their team, but to also be able to brag and say, yeah, the East is stronger than the West when we're talking about the league as a whole, or the West is stronger than the East when we're talking about the league as a whole. So we'll see what happens tonight with the format that we have. However, I will say I am fascinated by having that extra added wrinkle of having the winners of the Rising Stars challenge thrown into the mix, and it makes it all that more interesting that we have a connect on that winning team, considering the drama related to the trade deadline, in which he was nearly traded to another team, and only because the player for the player that got traded to the Lakers for him, and a few other players, a few of his teammates, it didn't go through, only because of, I guess, some issue with the physical, that it got reneged. So I am fascinated to just see what will become of that, and if there will be any drama from that. Of course, there's every likelihood that that our veterans, that our perennial all-stars will win that game, but just adding that extra added wrinkle of having Connect and his team be in that game, I still feel like it will add some interesting drama to that game that we
Is
otherwise
Victor
wouldn't have.
Wembanyama on that team? He's not, is he? No, he's not, because he's a real all-star. The real all-stars are going to play against that team of rookies, and they're going to beat the rookies, ladies and gentlemen. They said, Victor, we do not want you to get hurt on Friday night. We know you are too good to be playing. Most of the time, it's hard to remember what channel that rookie all-star game is, because who cares about those guys? Sure, like some
Hey,
years
it's
it'll
the
be a bunch
future
of
of the
good
league.
rookies.
It's the future of the league.
Don't nobody care about fake all stars. We want real all stars.
Wow.
That's a
Wow.
real all star game. We want the
Wow.
real all stars, people that actually people voted for, or the coaches all said, "Hey, this guy's actually so good. We can't have this game without having him in the game." To
Okay.
me,
Just remember.
I get that
Just
the
remember.
rookies are a thing. But again, the best rookie or second year player or whatever wasn't even playing that night. So who cares about those guys? Victor Wembanyama, if it was actually how it's supposed to be, Victor would have played that Friday night and won the game handedly, because can't nobody check it. Even though he was cheating on Saturday, him and old
Oh
cheating
yeah, we
Chris
ain't gonna
Paul.
talk about
We
that.
ain't
That
even talk
was, they
about
were
Chris Paul cheating. Chris
wilding for that,
Paul, you are a
wilding,
conniving little cheater. I
wilding,
just
wilding.
looking at it, it was just like
Come on, bro.
it was like seeing
Wilding.
certain people being like, "Well, this is not a rule, so I can put as many people in the Supreme Court as I want to." Okay,
Wow.
okay,
Wow.
okay.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not a rule,
yeah.
but
We can
that's
agree on
not what
that.
we doing.
We can agree on that. That was wild. That
It
he
was
was wild.
terrible.
He was wilding for that. But
I don't blame Victor for that. I'm putting that all that screams. Chris was like, "All right, Victor, this is what we're gonna do. What we're gonna do is you go ahead. Don't even shoot these shots. They don't. They in the rule they don't say you have to make it. You just have 3 attempts. So do we have to make them? No, but we have to make the best time. That's all that matters. So
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, let me ask this. Based on who we have with our all-star teams, not including the winner of the Rising Stars, which I know you already are counting out. Who do you have as the winner of All-Star Weekend? Because we can't say East and West no more.
hold on, ladies and gentlemen. I will have to refer back to the list of the teams because I don't know who's all on the teams
Oh
because it's
no,
not
I
East
got
versus
you. I
West.
got you. Let me
It's
help.
not
Let me
East
help you
versus
out here.
West.
Let me help you out here. I think I can get you here. So let's see. We'll pull up the screen now. Let me know if you have any issues seeing it.
I can see it.
All right,
Look at
cool.
this.
So we
Look,
have
look, look. There's no
Shaq's
rhyme or reason
OG.
to this.
We have Shaq's OGs. Let me scroll this down a bit. So we have Jalen Brown, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Damian Lillard, Anthony Davis, Stephen Curry. Let's see. James Harden, LeBron James, and Jason Tatum for Shaq's OGs. I would assume that they would be their favorite for you since your boy is on there. Not your boy, but your boy is on there, Mr. Spillman. So let's see, Kenny's Young Stars. We have Jalen Brunson. We have Ant Anthony Edwards. We have Tyler Hero, yesterday's 3-point shooting champion. Evan Mobley, Cade Cunningham, Darius Garland, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Jalen Williams. And let's see if we are moving onwards to Chuck's Global Stars. We have Shai Gilgeous Alexander. We have Joker, Kola Jokic, Donovan Mitchell, Spider, Alperin Sengun. Let's see, Pascal Siakam, Carl Anthony Towns, Victor Wembanyama, Trey Young, and Giannis Antetokounmpo for our global, or say Chuck's global stars. And then last but not least, of course, we have Candace's Rising Stars, which we mentioned already, that has Dalton Connect, who has something to prove.
I
So
would have said actually the foreign boys, but unfortunately, Giannis ain't playing. So I don't see how they're gonna beat the
the
LeBron and
OG.
Steph team. LeBron, Steph, and KD.
Okay. All right.
LeBron, Steph, and KD like them old people at your office that keep getting all the promotions, even though they don't know how to use none of the like internet stuff. You'd be like, man, why can't they ever log into Zoom? It's like, but they get the work done. They get the work done. So they gonna keep getting the promotions and all the money in the promotions. I don't really know, ladies and gentlemen. I really don't know.
It sounds like you got the OGs.
I got the OGs, but this is stupid. We don't like think about that. Like even in like all the other leagues, you know who's going to be on each All-Star team because it's like league based. It's like, oh, I'm in the AFC. I'm going to be on the AFC All-Star team. East
Right.
and West was very easy to remember. It was easy to understand. Just like you said earlier with your family with the Marvel movie. Once you start getting in the weeds, people start asking questions
Overcomplicated.
that they shouldn't have to ask. Like, oh,
Overcomplicated.
why is this team here? Well, they pick teams randomly. It sounds silly. That sounds silly. I think it should be these are the people that made it from the East, these are the people that made it from the West. If you aren't good enough to get voted on by either the fans or the coaches, tough. I don't care. I really don't care. Like, it never hurt anybody in the 80s, 90s, 70s, 2000s to not make an all star team. That means you need to be better next year. And I feel like the fact that we've moved away, because this is like 25, 30 people now. It used to just it's too many people on the All Star team. We don't care about half of these people. The young All Stars, who are these people?
Let's see.
Tumani Karamo, I don't know him.
Okay, let's pull it up. So we have Stephon Castle, who we just had in a not the 3-point contest, but we had him in the slam dunk contest. So he has a crazy motor. We have Zach Edey. People sleep on Zach Edey. Um, and we have let's see. So you have some bigs, you have some athleticism. Thompson, monster athlete, and you have some shooting with Dalton Connect. So I don't know. Like on paper, it may seem like it's pretty one sided, but you have some. You were talking about
This is
horses,
a
right?
G League team, ladies and gentlemen. This is a G League team. They're not that good.
Wow.
I don't get why we're watching them on TV. The NBA is wasting its airtime. This is why football kills them every year because they don't know what to do. They make stupid decisions like not putting their stars up. Giannis is not playing. Other people not playing. And Giannis is not super hurt. He's just like, I could use the rest because this is a joke. It's a joke. It's
Mm,
terrible.
mm. But with all
This
of
is
that being
just
said, regardless of your opinions on it, I just want to make sure you say you have the OGs, correct?
I got the OGs. Maybe Chuck's team could win, but I got the
I don't know. I have
OGs.
Chuck's team. I think they're
I
the
don't
dog
have
team.
Chuck's team. I feel like they don't have no guards on that team. They got Donovan, he's the
They don't have
guard, and
any
they got
guards.
Trey
They
Young.
have Alexander. What are you talking about?
Oh, okay. I forgot about Shea. Shay's name be like
What?
Shay's name. I forget. He's the MVP this year. They might could win.
They have Trey Young, Alexander, and Spider. They have
Okay.
Donovan Mitchell,
And they got the Wimby, my favorite player right now.
and they have some
Um,
youth versus the OGs that are a little old behind the tooth. You know,
but they could all shoot. These guys, they're streaky shooters, and they don't play well together. The like KD said, what about the chemistry?
oh my
But
god, the
the
last
NBA
person we
is
need to be
lunching.
asking about chemistry, the last person, right? But
What are you talking
but
about?
so
What are you
we'll
talking
see.
about?
I
Oh,
guess we'll
Kevin
see.
Durant. That's mean. I feel the
Hey,
hurt. You wanted him to come back,
hey,
ladies and gentlemen. You hear that?
hey.
Brandon wanted that old thing back, and they said, I don't want to be with you no more.
Hey, no, respect though, respect that they because they could have still forced the issue and still had them traded to the team. Respect to the Warriors for not, for respecting his wishes. Because if you don't want to be on the team and you're not willing to play alongside, the personnel that we got, then bye. We don't need that drama. So, um, yeah, yeah. I mean, that's how I feel. I mean, it would have been nice to have him, but I mean, I also respect that they respected his wishes because it wouldn't have done us any good of having someone who didn't really want to play for the team. But with that being said, looking forward to the All Star game tonight. It'd be interesting to see how this new format happens tonight. It's been interesting thus far, at least with what transpired on Friday. So that's going to do it for what we have here at This Week in Pop Culture. I'm going to punt it over to Spillman. Spills, can you tell folks where they can find you?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm real sad that Brandon is out here defending the NBA with this shenanigans. Just make an all-star game. If you're not good enough to make it, stop giving people consolation prizes. Stop making G League players the dunk contest champion because you can't find anybody out of the 300 players to actually win an all-star game dunk contest. It's just shameful. It's sad.
In contrast, as I said, while I was skeptical of the new format, I am appreciative of the fact that it has provided, as I said, more value to the Rising Stars game, which otherwise a lot of people would have looked past. And as well, I love that the drama, that unexpected drama that it is added to the All Star game based on the winner of that said bracket that we have with the Rising Stars. And when we're talking about the slam dunk competition, that is the fault of today's players. If anyone wants to complain about it, you can complain to today's NBA players. If y'all have an issue with it, then y'all need to our marquee players need to step into the contest and take it away from Mac, who up to this point has been saving the slam dunk competition for the last couple of years in a contest that was otherwise boring. So there, I said it. If y'all have an issue with it, then y'all need to step into that contest and take it from Mac. Because right now, Mac has it on lock. That's all I got.
Pensacola, ladies and gentlemen. You couldn't even find that on the map.
Pensacola, Pensacola, but killing y'all in a slam dunk contest.
He's
Let
not
that
killing
marinate.
us. He's killing other people that could possibly play for the Pensacola Magic. That's the thing that's crazy about it.
Killing
Like
the
all
league,
them
and
players last night.
he's in the G League, killing the league, killing the NBA.
This is
Yeah,
true.
but yet y'all have him down in the G League when he up here embarrassing y'all in the slam dunk competition.
We all know people that could dunk but can't play basketball.
What do you mean he can't play? Like from what I understand, he's been killing it in the G League, if memory serves.
Bronny kills it in the G League. Bronny looks like John Morant in the G League. But look, did you see how instantly you see that, ladies and gentlemen? You see how the narrative changes based on who
Uh,
name it is. Soon as I said Bronny kills in the G League, because Bronny averaged like I think 25, 30 in the G League. I seen him dunk on somebody and fall out of bounds like he was John Morant.
how is that team doing though? How is
The
that team?
South Bay. Who
Yeah.
knows? They're the G League. We don't know. We don't care. No one cares about it. Like I don't like. Think about it. You just said, "How's that team doing?" Like we would actually know. Like I wouldn't even know where to look at the standings for the G League. And I was just on NBA.com, ladies and gentlemen. This is the PS of the show. This is the PS. I'm getting on Brandon because he just said, I mean, did you see that? For weeks, this man sitting next to me has been talking bad about Bronny James. But then Matt McGlung wins a dunk contest, and now all of a sudden we're supposed to be like, "Oh, the
So let
G
me ask
League
you, should
isn't
Bronny
just
be in
a
a
bunch
slam
of
dunk
losers,
contest? So should
huh?"
Bronny be in a slam dunk contest?
He should have did it. I think he could have done it. He could have done it. He could have done better than those other losers that was out there. And at
Okay,
least you see him on TV sometimes. You got to do the
okay,
people that's on TV. I feel like
okay.
that's where the NBA's messed up. I feel like there should be some back. I understand that people don't like it when there's backroom deals in these sports leagues, but you got to do stuff to make the league better. Like they should have made LeBron do it years ago. I think that letting him move wherever he wanted to because he was the biggest star in the world, they should have put some kind of block on him. Because, like, they didn't let Michael do whatever he wanted to do. I mean, they let him play baseball and come back without, while he was gambling on the games. But far be it from me to say that that was what was going on. But we'll let this go.
So as I said, folks, I'm your host, Brandon Choi, co-creator of Movers and Shakers Unlimited. You can find me at Brandon Choi _ENT on X, and then Brandon Choi _ENT on IG. With that out of the way, again, I also want to thank, of course, Spillman once again for being on here, being my co-host. Always entertaining. But that's gonna do it for us here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be safe out there, and see